I don't think we often talk about the kind of loneliness that comes from being in a new place, especially in a foreign land. The initial days of transition can be difficult, are usually difficult actually, physically and as well as emotionally. I might have talked about this previously, but I don't remember. But anyway, I left home, my parents' home, at the age of 13, when I was 13, and I moved to a boarding school. It wasn't a punishment. I was very happy to go actually. I was so excited to go live with friends, people my own age. And of course, I had a very filmy and romanticized picture of the boarding school experience. And honestly, it was far from my imagination in reality. But to be honest, those were the best years of my teenage life, and I will not have it any other way. I had so much fun, and the experience of growing up with people who have same beliefs, who I grew up together with, was a beautiful experience, to be honest. And of course, later I moved to a different city for my college, for my university. These changes were never much paid attention to. I personally did not pay attention to it, what it was doing to me emotionally. And because I think I was too busy in the process of growing up and chasing my dreams and all those things. And although as a child there were a lot of emotions that I was maybe feeling at that time of these transitions, I never thought that those emotions will not get better. I always thought that, okay, things will get better, my loneliness will eventually be fine. But sometimes, especially when you make decisions for yourself, you cannot really blame anyone or even question anybody else, because at least I constantly felt that, okay, like I might be having a hard time, but how can I complain? It was my decision. But now I realize that my feelings of loneliness and isolation in a new place were not complaints. Those emotions were very much valid, and I just didn't know better. And neither did I have anybody to turn to talk about this, because all my friends were going through the same thing at the same time. So I guess that was sort of a comfort for me. And slowly and gradually, the cloud of transition, it moves away, it becomes easier. That's how it has always been. I guess this also, my shift, my move away from home, has changed my relationship with home, with the concept of home. Especially my relationship with my family, who I meet once in a while now. And of course, this not living with family is a huge factor, and it does have an impact on my relationship with my family members. But growing up, especially during my college during my college, I never paid attention to that until now. And I guess when last year I decided to move across the globe, it wasn't a difficult decision, because I've always made these changes in my life. I was constantly evolving, I was constantly moving. My relationship with the concept of home is complex, I would say, but that's another video altogether. But when I moved last year, I thought I was well equipped with the tools to deal with this transition. I thought that I was well equipped with emotional tools. I had read up a bunch on loneliness, on moving abroad, and I thought those internet online articles would be helpful, and I thought I was prepared. But until I was actually here, and it hit me how difficult it is to deal with that sort of loneliness. Of course, everyone has different ways to cope, and I just had my ways to cope with loneliness in a new foreign land. My friends from back home kept saying, "Why don't you make new friends?" And wow, like I was so thankful to their brilliant advice. Why did I not think of just making new friends when I was lonely? Well, it is difficult. It is difficult to, honestly, it's very difficult for me to make new friends. I think I'm still, even after a year, more than a year, I'm still making friends. And slowly I have learned that human relationships take time to grow, and I shouldn't force myself to instantly form deep bonds with people. Even I think I was sort of maybe pushing like myself to be friends, to have familiarity in a new place, which was not maybe very much practical, because you do take time, especially relationships with people take time. I do feel a lack of familiarity, but that's not a problem for me. Ironically, I have had this itch to constantly uproot myself. I don't know what kind of escapist behavior that is. That's again a black hole that maybe I don't want to get into right now. But it's the loneliness which is a given in these situations, which are difficult, right? To be honest, although loneliness is a universal experience, we all feel it differently for different reasons and with different intensities in different situations. I cannot generalize loneliness, and moving to a new place has its own excitement and new experiences, and I think that's what pushes people to move. But sometimes the loneliness can linger for longer, even if you make new friends or already know people in the new place. Loneliness can find you sometimes, and that's okay. Especially in a new country or city, you might miss the familiarity of language, food, people's familiar warmth or coldness in some cases. I don't think I have any solution to that problem of loneliness, which we might feel deeply sometimes, especially in a new, unfamiliar place. It comes down to, of course, personal choices, personal preferences, and experiences. And funnily, to be honest, the list of places that I want to live in is actually growing. It is ironical. It is ironic, but in my fantasy to go list of places, I want to be in big cities around the world. I want to be in tiny villages with little to no population. Sometimes I also have places which are in isolated hills and islands on my list. So I don't know where this dream list would lead me to, and I know that every new place will have a significant new experience of loneliness. As I grow older, I might have different emotional abilities to cope with loneliness, but I know that with each move, with each transition in life, loneliness is inevitable, and I will have to deal with them. I will have to accept my loneliness, which is, I think, hard. It is hard, but I hope that I still grow, and what I fear more than loneliness is stagnancy. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that maybe with each transition in life, with each move and change in life, we will feel lonely. We will learn to cope with our loneliness, hopefully in a more better and gentle way as we grow up. But I guess, yeah, we should not stop ourselves from achieving our dreams or going places, having new experiences, fearing loneliness. Yeah.